he's now promising policies. Tell us what they are.
Right.
Tell us what he specifically is going to do. I mean, our pressure has worked somewhat. Finally, the New York Times used the F word, as in fascism, about Trump. Finally, the Washington Post, they did their headlines have gotten better. They've done comparisons of Trump's rhetoric to Hitler's rhetoric. The Atlantic is coming out with an entire edition.
Issue is about,
But this is what we need from all these guys, and they can't just say, "Oh, well, it's not news anymore because we reported it last week." It needs to be reported every day.
I was just listening to him this week. I mean, not only is half of what he says completely incomprehensible now, but it's just despicable and hateful. I'm talking about the Muslim ban, and I think, what depresses me sometimes, Cliff, is that there's any percentage of people in America that look at this despicable, racist creature and go, "Oh yeah, that's my guy."
Yeah, that it depresses me that a full third of us look at that and are like, "He's awesome. That's what I want to be." A guy who John Kelly is second chief of staff said literally had every flaw he ever had seen in a human. Yes. I don't know that he put it that way, but I'll put it that way. Every flaw I'd ever seen in somebody.
Stuffed into a disgusting orange hot dog casing.
Exactly. All in this sort of husk leaking golden. Okay, I won't say.
Yes. All right. And then here he is again on CNN.
And my colleagues who have been focusing on Trump 2025 really lay out 3 areas where he would really shift in comparison to what the Trump we knew as presidency. That it goes to kind of weaponizing the Justice Department, kind of, as we heard, the sort of drain the swamp, fill the bureaucratic jobs with some people who are more supportive of Trump.
Oh my God, we went through the Rude Pundit actually applied for a job in the next Trump administration, and the application is hilarious, right? Which part of Trump's sphincter do you like best? It really.
Oh my God, that is so
maybe
awesome
exaggerating a little.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna go find the thing and apply. Oh, just for fun.
Yeah, exactly. All right, one last one, Cliff.
But it also goes to expanding military powers for immigration and, most importantly, just the general expansion of executive power. This is a president who's really pushing to really unify power in the executive branch and really go at the kind of checks and balances that have grounded American democracy for a long time. So although it kind of feels like a stale presidential race that might feature Biden versus Trump again, I think that's a mistake. This is a different Donald Trump. This is a radicalized Donald Trump.
God, like he was moderate in the last administration. I mean, I think it is just.
No.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
No, it is just terrifying.
He's every bit as crazy as radical and act like he's suddenly gotten worse. Maybe dementia's gotten worse. I have no idea. I mean, he says crazier things, sure. But no, what happened is there were conservative people, there were people whose policies I don't like, but actually had some sort of belief in the Constitution and our system. I mean, some of these guys I can't stand, like Bolton and whatever, but even they had some belief. Now he's surrounding himself with all the people who, when he says, "Hey, we can just shoot a missile at the Mexican lab there, a drug cartel, and nobody will know where it came from, right?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, there's no such thing as radar." And he'll be like, "We could just give nukes away. Remember, he wanted to do that to Saudi Arabia, right?" And they'll be like, yeah. I mean, that's
How about
the
nuking
problem.
a hurricane? That was a good idea.
Oh, that's right. I like that one. That was solid.
David Fromm said, if a president can summon an investigation of his opponents or summon the military to put down protests, then suddenly our society would no longer be free. There would be no law, no more law, only legalized persecution of political opponents. It's always been Trump's supreme political wish to wield both the law and institutional violence as personal weapons of power, a wish that many in his party now seem determined to help him achieve. It would mark the turn onto a dark path. One of these rips the before and after that a society can never reverse. Even if the harm is contained, it can never be fully undone, as the harm of January 6th can never be undone. The long tradition of peaceful transitions of power was broken that day. Even though the attempt to stop the transition by violence was defeated, the violence itself was not expunged. That's kind of echoes everything Liz Cheney's been saying. I mean,
well, it builds on each other, right? I mean, I don't want to go into the sort of frog boiling in a pot, because this is even much quicker than that. But once you've used political violence in the situation of January 6th, and you've actually come out like Marjorie Sporkfoot and the rest of her friends and tried to say, this is something that these are political prisoners and this was justified. Half the time she says that, the other half the time was Antifa. She can't really make up her mind, but she's dumb. So
don't forget the ghost buses full of FBI agents.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That too. Remember all the guys who were showing their badges, but they weren't badges?
Right.
I mean, like, the thing is that when you're dealing with such fundamentally dishonest and cruel people, they cannot have power. They can't until some sort of sanity reigns there again. So, I mean, we need to do everything, and we need to pressure the media constantly, and we all need to do our parts constantly. And if it's uncomfortable for some friends, if I lose some friends along the way, I don't care. Like this is too much. This is my kids. This is the future of our country.